Hi, Caitlin.
Hi.
So
How are
thanks
you?
for coming on today. I'm excited. You're my second. Like, are you still in college right now, or are you out of college?
No, I move into my dorm on Sunday.
So you just graduated from high school.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. So you are. I have two daughters right about your age. I have one that's going to be a freshman in college starting Wednesday, and one that's going to be a sophomore in college. So
Oh, wow.
I've often said that I thought they would crush it as PCA trainers. So I'm glad you're taking advantage of this opportunity.
Yes, I'm very excited.
Awesome. Cool. So usually these demos, we go for about 20 minutes, just so that you're not, going through an hour long thing in front of us. Just kind of breaks it up a little bit. It's good to kind of start off, and then we give you a little bit of feedback, and then we do another one another time. But my first question was, did you end up getting together with Tamara or Nicole about doing one in the local office at all?
I never did. I actually just came home from camp last week. I
Okay.
never got in touch with her, but because I know she was on vacation for a weekend, and then it just didn't end up working.
No, that's totally fine. I get it. This is a hard time of year to try to get this stuff together. So
Yeah.
no problem at all. Yeah, so before you get started, do you have any questions for me as to how this goes?
So you just want me to do one part of the presentation, right?
Yeah, so I was thinking if you want to do the introduction today to the workshop, sort of stop before you get to the first principle, which is filling the emotional tank. But again, if you want to keep going, as I said, usually about 20 to 25 minutes, so we can see how far we get, if that works for you. But I don't want to stop you like mid-sentence if you're in the middle of, a thought or something. We can just see how it goes.
Yeah, of course. What I can do that, but what I practice just doing the emotional tank. I thought we just picked apart, but I can
Okay.
do. You just want to do that one?
If whatever you've practiced, whatever you're comfortable with, I think that's best to do first. This is for you more than it is for us.
Okay.
It's for you to practice and just have a little bit of pressure from people watching you. It's always easy to do it when you're in front of a mirror or like in your car. But when you actually have people watching you, you have to be a little bit more careful about what you say. So this is not a test. This is not like a pass-fail grade. It's really for you to just practice and, try some things out. If you want us to stand up and get in groups of 5, just because there's 2 of us, don't not do it. Say, hey, everybody get up, find a partner, find another partner, stand over here, run to that side of the room, whatever you would have us do at a workshop. Just tell us what you would do, and if you ask us questions, Ruben and I will answer as if we were high school athletes, and we're both really good at that.
Okay, perfect. I'm just gonna do the second part because that's what I practiced.
Okay.
Next time we can do something different if that works.
That sounds great. Does that sound okay with you, Ruben?
Excellent.
All right, cool. So, Caitlin, whenever you are ready, one of the things that I would love you to put in here, though, is just a little bit of background about, I call it like the credibility and connection piece. So just a quick intro about why you're here, so that if I was a high school kid and I was like, wait, who is this? She looks young. Why is she here as the expert on this? I'd love to hear that.
Okay, so I'm Katelin Aden. I was a competitive all-star cheerleader for 12 years. I am going into my freshman year of college, but I will also be on the ASU stunt team in college. So I'm still going to be an athlete for the next coming years. But I am very excited to be here. I'm very passionate about sports and making sure our teammates are together, and I just love being a part of the team. That's my favorite part about being sports. So I love not telling other kids, but explaining to other kids how we can make our team better and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So part of being a triple impact competitor, you have 3 main characteristics. The first one is to make yourself better. We make ourselves better by using the elm tree of mastery. The second one is we want to make our teammates better. We make our teammates better by filling emotional tanks. And the third one is we want to make the game better. We do this by honoring the game, using an acronym called ROOTS. Today, what I want to focus on is the second one, is filling emotional tanks. So can you still see the computer?
Yeah.
There we go. That's better. So we're going to fill emotional tanks. So we're going to start today off with a quote. The quote is, "I am what I am because of who we all are." So I want you guys to think about the quote as we go through just this section. When we go through this section, we'll just think about it, and then we're going to touch base on it right at the end to really understand what the quote means. So we have this thing called an emotional tank. We're going to compare the emotional tank to a gas tank, like in a car. So in a car, if our gas tank is full, we're going to go super far driving wise. If it's empty, we're not going to be able to go very far, and we're going to have to stop to fill up, or either we're going to be stuck on the side of the road. And I don't think either of those things are a very good thing. I know I wouldn't want to be stuck on the side of the road. So our studies have shown that athletes with empty emotional tanks are pessimistic, are more easily to give up. They give up easily, and then they're less coachable. And then athletes with a full tank are optimistic, deal better with adversity, and then are more coachable. Athletes with a full tank that seems like a better option for most athletes, because you want to be optimistic about your game. You want to be coachable because you're there to learn. When you go to practice, you want to be able to take your coach's corrections. And then you want to deal better with adversity. Not that that's just a game skill, that's also a life skill, because life is crazy and you never know what's going to be thrown at you. But before we move on, I wanted to tell just a short little story about, about emotional tanks. So I coach a mini team, and their ages are about 5 to 6. So last week when I was coaching, it was their first week of kindergarten. That was a rough week of coaching for them. Their emotional tanks were entirely starting kindergarten. Big step. It's a long day for them. They're not ready for it. It's such a transition. And so their emotional tanks were empty. So we didn't have a very productive practice. They were worse than usual. Not in a bad way, but 5 and 6-year-olds. But that was just one example of how our tanks can be emptied. But what I want you to do is, so at this point, I'd either have them have a piece of paper or a whiteboard. Mm-hmm. So I just want you to split the piece of paper in half, and on one side I want you to write something that you think would drain a tank, and on the other side I want you to write something that you think would fill a tank. Just personal examples you would have. So I'll give you about a minute to do that.
So drain and fill for myself, like as an athlete, or if
yeah,
okay,
yeah, just like as an athlete.
Okay.
Okay, you good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm gonna have you share what you think would drain your tank. Just what you wrote down.
Okay, I wrote down when the coach yells a lot at us. I wrote down when there's clicks on the TV, and I wrote down when we have to do sprints as punishment.
Okay, perfect. And then Ruben, is he still there?
Yeah.
Yep. I just wrote down one, getting put down by a teammate. Okay. Drains my emotional tank.
What would fill your emotional tank?
For me, it was the opposite. It was hearing from a teammate encouraging words or praise from a teammate.
Well, those are perfect. So just, wait. Okay. Wait 1 second. Okay. There we go. Okay, sorry. Technical difficulties.
No worries.
Middle name. So just explanation. So what drains the emotional tank would be criticism and corrections. So if a coach gives it to us yelling, we most likely aren't going to respond well to that. Sarcasm. Most people don't like sarcasm, especially in a game setting. When you ignore someone, whether it's your coach ignoring you or a teammate ignoring you, it's going to drain your emotional tank. And then nonverbal. So our nonverbal tank drainers would be frowning, making faces, crossing our arms is a big one because it makes you feel cut off, or turning away from someone or walking away. Those are nonverbal actions that would make someone feel worse than what they did before. And then the last one would be clicks, just like you said. If you feel like you're not a part of the team, you're definitely going to feel worse about yourself, and that's not what you want. You're at the games, you're at practice to have fun and learn. You're not there to worry about if the kids like you or not. But what fills the tank, like what you guys said, truthful and specific praise. If someone threw a basket, they miss, but you're like, great follow through with your arm. You're going to be like, okay, well, next time I'm going to be able to do it better because I had that, just need to fix something else. Another thing would be expressing appreciation, just kind of goes with the praise, being thank you for passing me the ball, good job doing that, just cues like that. Another thing is listening. So whether you need to listen to an athlete, or if you're talking to someone and you feel like they're not listening to you about a concern you have, then that concern gets bigger because no one's listening to you about it. And then so we want to listen to them, and that would fill your tank. And then belonging has to do with the clicks. You want to feel like you belong with that team, whether it has to be skill level or just friends. So you just want to be on a team that you feel like you're contributing to. That would fill your tank. The last one, again, is nonverbals. But good nonverbals would be smiling, clapping, giving someone a pat on the back. Those are things that we want to happen because it makes them feel good. So, on the next page. Perfect. So, some things that we can do specifically that would help fill a tank would be calling someone by their name. When you call someone by their name, it's very specific, and it makes them feel like they know you're talking to them, and it makes them feel better. Another thing would be comings and goings. So when you walk into practice, saying hello to people, and when you're like leaving practice, saying goodbye and that you did a good job tonight. That's what people want to hear. It makes them feel good on the car ride home. Praise, same thing, kind of good job, keep up the good work from your teammates, not just your coach. They're great things to have. Expressing appreciation is that one. Offering help. So if you see, one example I have is if you see someone struggling, just say you have to run. And it's been a really hard practice and you're running and you see someone kind of dropping behind the pack because they're tired. It's not the most important thing for you to always finish last. You kind of, if you want to, you can break off from the pack and go help that person. Run beside them and tell them that they got this and they're not alone with it. I've known there have been many experiences where I've been either the person to be at the back of the pack and been struggling, and so someone staying with me really helped me, or dropping back to help them, because it's not the most important to finish first at practice when your teammate is struggling. You want to be there for them. Glue actions, we want to make sure that everything you say to everyone isn't always about yourself. It's not always impacting you. So if you see two people did a really good job with a pass, good job. That had nothing to do with me, but keeping us all together. Check-ins, make sure your teammates are doing good, whether they look like they're feeling sick or they just had a bad day. If you check in with your teammates, you can either offer to help them fix a problem, or at least you acknowledge the problem, and it makes them feel better, that you know what's going on so you can help them work with it throughout the practice or the game. And then we want to watch out for our younger players. For example, seniors really need to be nice to our freshmen because freshmen are constantly scared, which is, and so if we're watching out for them and we're helping them, it will make the team feel better as a whole. And then same thing, ask and listen, ask for help, listen when someone's giving you help. And then mistake ritual. This one's really important because we need to be able to move on from our mistakes fast, especially when you're in a game. So people like to make a little toilet flushing gesture and make the sound. Other people like to rub their shoulder, brushing it off. The one I use, my favorite one, is I like to shake it off and kind of jiggle my whole body. That one really helps me because it kind of makes me giggle, and then it makes the people around me laugh. And that way we know that I made a mistake, but now everyone's kind of giggling, we're past it, and I'm going to do it again. Those are important ones. Then, okay. So while being a part of a team, on a team, we have our leaders and then we have our followers. It's good to be either. We want to be on a team. You don't need to be the most important person on the team, but you need to work as a team. But there are leaders and there are leadership qualities you can possess even if you aren't the sole leader of your team. So here on the PowerPoint, we have six like examples. You say, I'm going to read them to you, and then I want you to tell me which one is leadership. So you want to hold up a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. You're just going to use both hands for 6. Okay. Which one would be a leadership quality? So I'm going to read them, and then we'll vote. So number 1, telling the freshmen to carry equipment. Number 2, trying to finish first in conditioning drills. Number 3, playing hard against a teammate at practice. Number 4, captain inviting teammates to lead warm-ups. Number 5, yelling, pick it up at your teammates. And then number 6, encouraging a teammate after a mistake. So you want to hold up your fingers and which one you think is the most likely leadership quality.
I have more than one. So which one?
So you can hold up if, just do like one and then the other, and then we'll see.
Oh, okay.
Okay, cool. And then Ruben, do you have yours?
I have 6 as the one that I think is the strongest leadership.
Okay. Those are good. I think they're all I would think all of these are leadership qualities besides 1 and 5. Telling the freshmen to carry equipment, that's kind of rude. We've already kind of talked about that. We don't want to haze people. And then number 5, yelling, pick it up at your teammates. We can use kinder words to encourage people, like, let's go, we got this type thing. Number 2 and 3 are good ones. If you finish your drills the best and the fastest, and you're playing hard, you should always play hard at practice. It makes your other people around you play hard. Those are good ones. And then number 6, encouraging a teammate after a mistake. I totally think that's a leadership quality because not a lot of people are going to be able to encourage them after a mistake. They're going to feel discouraged, and a lot of people might be a little upset, but a true leader is going to be like, buddy, it's okay. You got this for next time. So we have a quote. It said, leadership is making those around you better. So while a lot of the time your teammates, your leader on your team isn't going to be the best player on your team. Sometimes it is your best player on your team, but a lot of times it isn't. It's most of the time someone who makes the people around you feel better about themselves, and also someone who understands what's going on is going to keep you on a consistent track. And so leadership is really worrying about the people around you and not just yourself. So I like this quote because of that. And the next thing we have culture. So at PCA, what we like to see culture as, it's the way we do things here. So culture, the way you do things in your program or on your team is very important. And a lot of the times your coaches enforces it at the beginning, and then it kind of becomes the team's job to continue enforcing it for the most part. And so for a team culture, I feel like most people don't want a negative team culture. Not a lot of people flourish in negative team cultures. We always want to be encouraging. So the goal of being a triple impact competitor is to help create that positive team culture, and that's by filling each other's emotional tanks. So I want you to write down, we're not going to share these, you're just going to write down which ones you think you're going to bring to the next practice. So we have a list of qualities that are all good qualities, but you're just going to write them down and you're going to bring them to practice. So the first one would be being on time, bouncing back from mistakes, teammate support for each other, respecting officials, superior conditioning, having fun, friendship among teammates, and then academically eligible, and then there's one more, and then it's constant improvement. and then winning record. These are all important things that you want from your teammates and your team culture, but there's only a few that we can do like right away. Some of them take a lot of work, while some of them are simple that we can do, for example, being on time. So the 3 you wrote down, I want you to bring those to practice. I want you to really focus on them, put them in your backpack that you bring to practice, and look at them every time you start practice. And that's always good for you. So I'll give you just a minute to write those down. Good? Okay, cool. So then now, like I said, we're going to go back to that first quote we started with. Let me click back on the PowerPoint. I am what I am because of who we all are. So I really like this quote, but I want to hear from you guys, and I want you to tell me what you think this quote really means in the triple impact competitor sense. So
yeah, I have a couple of phrases that came to mind when you first showed me the quote. One is, hey, we're all in this together. We're all in this together, and the other one is, this may sound negative, but, we're only as strong as our weakest link. The idea, the idea that if there's a weak link somewhere in our chain, then we're not going to be a very strong chain.
I totally agree. I don't take that as a negative way, but some people could, but I totally agree with that. Like, we have to think about the bigger picture, and we can't just think about our individuals. So I like the way you thought of that. Kelly, do you have any ideas?
I think that, there's been teams that I've been on that we've had a lot of skilled players, but we didn't really mesh as a team.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, saying we are what we are, I forget what it said.
Because I am what I am because we all are.
Yeah, I am what I am because of what we all are. Like, there could be 1 or 2 players that just aren't meshing with the team's values and morals, and that can bring the whole team down. So it doesn't matter how good 1 or 2 players are. I think there's a couple, if the whole team's not united, it can really bring the reputation of a team down, and it can really bring the performance of a team down. So I think it works the same way in reverse, that if you've got 1 or 2 players that are really strong, good role models and good players, it can elevate the whole team up.
I've been on a few teams that have had we're all great players, but we don't work well together. I've been on a few teams like that, and I totally agree with that. I liked hearing your guys' view of the quote, because what I thought about the quote is that I thought about it as the way you are as a person has to do with who you surround yourself with. So from a young age, you build yourself up, and a lot of the time you are similar to the people who are around you. Mm-hmm. So I kind of thought about like that, where at practice, if you're around a whole bunch of athletes that work super hard, you're going to tend to be a super hard worker, where if you had a bunch of athletes around you that are kind of just there to be there, you're just going to also be there to be there. It's kind of like that phrase, one bad apple. I don't like that phrase, but it makes sense. It could ruin the whole batch. So that's what I had.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Kelly, I'll say,
you got that out of the way.
Hey.
Yay.
Kelly, were you able to record? Yeah, you're recording. Okay. I don't know if do you want to keep recording?
We can.
Yeah. Whatever you were going to do. I wasn't sure. Kelly, I'm just going to make a couple comments. I'm going to let you finish up with Caitlin so I can get on my, my other call.
Okay.
Okay. So, hey, Caitlin, I think you know the content very well. I think that your preparation is outstanding. Even the technical setup, Kelly and I do a lot of these, and we see very few people who have the wherewithal to set up and make this work the way you did. So visually. So thank you for all of that. I thought you got more and more comfortable as you went along. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you felt that inside, but sensed a little bit of nervousness at the start, and by the end, you just seemed relaxed and confident. Two things for you to think about. PCA's idea of leadership is leadership for all.
Yeah.
That the highest performing teams get leadership from every team member. Not that this player is the leader because they fill people's emotional tanks. It's okay. That might be the way that person's a leader. And this person might be a leader because they always run hard in conditioning. And this person might be a leader because they're always the first one at practice and they sweep the gym floor without anybody, whatever it is. But leadership for all is a key part of this section. Okay.
I'm recording this too, Katelin, so you can just go back and watch it, just in case you wanted to write down everything he was saying.
And then I know Kelly's going to give you plenty of feedback and she'll share some ideas with you. And so this might lead into what Kelly's going to share with you. I think as a trainer, especially as an 18 or 19-year-old, how would you want to experience this? If you were, if you were at the end of your school day and the coach said, instead of practice today, we're going to go hear a Positive Coaching Alliance workshop on this, becoming a triple impact competitor. How would you want to experience it? Would you want to, would you want it to feel like a presentation? Would you want it to feel like a field day where you're getting to play and laugh and, Kelly's so strong with that. She might have some ideas for you there. Okay. And I'm going to jump off because, my next call's coming in.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I know how to jump off.
You can figure out how to get out of this.
How do I get off? Let's see right here. Let's try this. Stop. How do I get off? Leave meeting. There it is.
There you go. You're still on. He's off. Is he off? He's off. Okay. Cool. So how did you feel doing that?
I felt good. I definitely, as I finished, I definitely forgot one part that I wanted you guys to do, but I couldn't go back, which was totally fine. I'll just tell you about it now, but I definitely forgot about it because I was a little more nervous than I wasn't nervous. I was just kind of,
Yeah.
Right after the quote, I wanted you guys to talk about a teammate who you thought was, who cared about your teammates the most.
Mm-hmm.
Because like what he said about if I had a long day at school, I'm a person, I really like to talk. Mm-hmm. I'm definitely a talker.
Yeah.
So the more I can talk to the people around me about what she's saying.
Yeah.
Or I'm engaged. So I definitely forgot to do that one.
Uh-huh.
But I totally agree that I feel like I need more activities than just speaking.
Yeah. And I think you did a lot of really great things. I can tell you know the material really well. And it shows. And you're the kind of person that doesn't let nerves get away from you. You can tell you're a little bit nervous, but it doesn't overwhelm you. You didn't a lot of ums and and all that kind of stuff, which is great. It's fantastic. I think I'm really excited about that. And I think, just jumping in, when you do this workshop by yourself, you would have it from the beginning. So you might choose to do some more of those activities in the very beginning in the introduction part to get people up and moving and talking. I think, think about it, coming out of high school, a long day, the first thing you want to do, you do not want to sit in a chair again. And especially when you get PowerPoint, they're like, oh gosh, here we go. And then when you tell them it's a workshop, even, just talking is good, but some people aren't talkers. There's a lot of athletes that'll come to this workshop and they're like, I don't feel like talking. I don't even like these people. I don't want to share anything. So, that's important too, is to think about that. Like, I'm going to try to reach every different person in this room. And some like to get up and move around. Some don't. Some like to watch a role play. Some don't. Some like to do a goofy game. Some don't. So as long as you hit a little bit of different types of, I call them exercises or engagement at some point, then you're pretty good. So just to keep that in the back of your mind. Okay. I think, showing the quote in the beginning is great. And then having them go back to that at the end. I liked that idea as well. The one rule that I often use myself and have been using for 10 years now, because I'm a talker as well, is any opportunity you have to ask instead of tell will usually work out really well. So anytime you see a slide up on the screen and it's got a lot of information on it or a lot of bulleted words, rather than telling the players what they mean, ask them.
Okay.
So, hey, like this whole, what drains the tank and what fills the tank, you got us think about for ourselves what drains and fills. But here's what PCA has found are the most tank draining and the most tank filling behaviors. What do you think we mean by this? And what I've even had them do is get with a partner. Because usually if you say get with a partner, somebody near you, they're pretty safe.
Yeah.
Okay, one of you is in the tank draining column and one of you is in the tank filling column. And let me just see if I can just pull it up real quick to show you.
I have it here too if you.
Yeah, I was just going to share it. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, I can see it now. Oh, that's cool. Okay. You can do this.
Yeah. So right here, of course, now it's not clicking. My Mac's been very slow. Okay. So, I mean, there's actually a video too, which is always good to show. But when you get to, sorry, I clicked through my Mac too fast and then it makes me wait. Between farts and I have to wait for it. So anyway, I'll see if that changes. Let me stop this and see if I can click through it. Hold on. There's Brad. Oh, because it was playing the video. Okay, here it is. So let me share this. So I think this was great. You had, these are characteristics of athletes with an empty tank and athletes with a full tank. And I think you did a good job. You didn't really read through that, which is good because you didn't need to. But this one here, this is set up so that whatever the tank draining characteristic is, the tank draining behavior, we have like a remedy for it. Like if you feel like criticism correction is really tank draining, truthful specific praise will be tank filling. So what I've even done for just an example activity, I've had two partners stand up face to face, and the first one is going to say, as a teammate, because remember, we're talking about how they can be a leader on their team. So I want the first person to say something really critical and correcting to a teammate. And they might say like, what were you thinking? You're so slow. That was terrible. And then the other partner is going to have to say right after it, a tank filling behavior. So they would say, hey, I know you didn't get to the ball right away, but I really like the way you were in position for defense. You know, and then the next one, one person says something really sarcastic, and the next person has to show appreciation. So the next person, they're going to show like, when would you ignore a teammate? And they give an example. And the other person's going to do an example of when you would listen to a teammate. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nonverbals and actually it's flipped on here. I don't know why. Nonverbal should be with verbals and click should be with belonging. I don't know why that got flipped on mine.
I do. It's like, but I don't know. I didn't
flip it.
I see it that way now. I like it.
Yeah, but it's a good example of how to make a slide that has a lot of information on it really engaging, and so that they're practicing, so that, you know, when they go to practice the next day and they might say, oh dude, that shot, my grandmother could have shot better than that. You know, that's a sarcastic comment rather than saying, hey, you know what, I'm so glad you tried to take that 3-point shot. That was awesome. I'm really glad you did that. Next time, why don't you try to wait till you're, you know, pull your elbow in or something like that. So it's just a way to make it engaging rather than just list after list after list.
Yeah.
Just as a point. And then these, again, same thing. There's a lot of bullets. And I heard one time I had a public speaking class in college, and my professor said, if you ever see a bulleted list and you read it to the people on the bulleted list, everyone's going to feel like putting a bullet through their head, which sounds harsh, but they're like, don't read bullets because bullets make people crazy. So
that makes sense.
When you've got bullets, and they might have the book with them, and in the book, they have 2 pages of all of these examples. So ask them, okay, let's just look at this list. Which ones on these do you think would fill your tank the most? Or which ones have someone on your team done for you? And then is there any here that you don't understand or you don't know what they are? And then say like, hey, I have no clue what a glue action is. And then you can explain what a glue action is. Or just go down the list one at a time. Like, hey, I want you to clap twice if you think everyone on the team knows your name. You know, and you'll know, like, clap twice to agree, stay quiet if you're not. I want you to clap twice if you, as a younger player, has ever had an older player watch out for you. You know, clap twice, yeah. Mistake ritual. Do any of you know what a mistake ritual is? No. Mistake ritual is when you have a certain physical trigger that you make a mistake, your whole team says flush it, or, you know, whatever it is. You're kind of explaining it to them and then asking, do you have one? Have you done one?
Yeah.
So, again, it's just a way of making it more like kind of like you did for this one. You did what is leadership, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, I think it's great for them to just talk about it. Get in a group of 3 or 4 and decide which one do you think is the most leadership. You know, I like how you had us, you know, putting our fingers up. That's still good. But anything where you can get us like moving out of our seats to do something, you know, it's always really helpful. This is a great question that kicks off. Leadership is about making those around you better. How can you make those people around you better? Well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do a round of rock, paper, scissors, hype squad. Did you ever do that, Katelin?
No.
Yeah. So you do a huge rock, paper, scissors tournament. Everybody takes a partner. You play, you know how to play rock, paper, scissors? Yeah. You do 1 round of rock, paper, scissors. The winner puts his hand up in the air. The person that just lost becomes the hype squad that gets behind. You're now on that person's team and they're cheering. Or they call it rock, paper, scissors train sometimes. So If I played against you, we played rock, paper, scissors, I won. You now get behind me, and your job is to make me a better rock, paper, scissors player. So you're cheering for me. You're filling my tank. You're clapping for me. So the two of us then go around and try to find somebody raising their hand to play against. So I play the next person. If I lose, we get behind them, and we now cheer for them and try to make them better. If we win, they get behind us. So I now have like this hype squad of 4 people. You know, again, it's just it's a quick activity. It's fun. At the end of it, you've got half the room cheering for one dude, half the room cheering for the other girl. And it comes down to a final winner. And you just talk about, man, like, look at the energy in the room. And I kind of like call them out sometimes. I'm like, we're playing rock, paper, scissors, people. And you guys are out of your minds right now. Imagine in your sport how much better you would play if you knew you had your whole team behind you. You know, would you play better? And they're like, yes, I totally would. Imagine if every time you got the ball or every time you tried to do that skill, you knew that your whole team, it's just kind of a visual analogy, like your whole team is you on behind you. How much better are you going to play? That is leadership. That is making those around you better. So, again, that's what we're kind of talking about activities. And I mean, there are slews of activities that you can find, and I'm sure, you know, you've seen a bunch, but just to challenge you to just try some out and, you know, see what works, see what doesn't work. But I've learned that, especially when I'm working with high school students, middle school students, and elementary school students, anything that I can teach them through activity versus telling them, they will definitely absorb more and have more fun.
Yeah.
So I would just challenge you to try some of those out. But I think, you know, everything else.
So one of the things.
Sorry, Julie. Hold on. Get ready, Julie. Everything else in terms of what you were doing, and, you know, I think you're really on the right track. It's just, this was a great first demo because you got to kind of see what it was like, how much, you don't even know how much time it takes you half the time. But you know, anything you can do in a workshop to make it fun, to make it high energy. I love the way you used your voice. Your voice tone was changing up and down. It was really cool. I thought that was great. So that would be my biggest, And again, you had us writing it down, which was great. I liked how you have us writing down things, but not everybody's big on writing. So maybe have us write down, you had us write down for drain and fill, and then you had us write down for, I think, the culture piece. You know, somebody may be like, I didn't bring a pen. I don't feel like writing this down. I don't want to do this. So, you know, one exercise, have us write it down. The next exercise, maybe have us, you know, do something else.
Okay.
Yeah. So that would be my challenge to you. I would love to see you do the intro part next time, which isn't as long as this, but I'd love to see you do that just to see how you would set the tone right away for the workshop. That would be great.
Okay.
And then if you want to jump front, you know, you can jump over this part and go right to Elm Tree of Mastery if you want to next time. I think that would be great too. Like do the intro and then Elm Tree of Mastery. Or you can do this one again with some activities and see if you want to run some of those by us.
I think I will do the intro next time.
Okay. That sounds awesome.
Okay.
All right. So when do you leave for school?
I leave Sunday, but I get my wisdom teeth out on Wednesday.
Oh, that's right. You said that.
I might be loopy.
Yeah, one of my kids was out for like 3 days, out cold like a chipmunk, and the other one like that night was like totally fine and ready to go. So I think it just depends.
Yeah, no, I've had surgery before, so like I actually was like a big trooper about it, but like people say like mouth pain is like entirely different than like any other kind of pain you'll have. So I don't know how I'm gonna react to it. But maybe because I should be fine by Saturday.
Okay. Well, let me know. I mean, usually we do these during the week, and I know you're going to be busy, like moving into school and stuff. So just, you know, give me a heads up. Let me know what works for you. I don't think there's like a massive rush to get you out there. So you have time. And I know the beginning of school is tough.
Yeah, I think probably either the mornings work probably the best.
Okay.
Just because I work in the afternoon.